Hey everybody, it's Rockula, and welcome back to Rockula Retrospective. This is the full review for Season 5, Episode 9 of The Walking Dead, and it is called What Happened and What's Going On.
You know damn well.
So, what I did during the mid-season break was I kind of reevaluated the Walking Dead reviews that I was doing, and it was kind of burning me out doing 3 a week. So what I'm going to do is combine the full review with the weekend re-review. What I did on Sunday night, you could see here with Meat Pie, we did a podcast about our reactions to the episode, and we covered all of the chronological events. So I don't really need to do that again. You can watch that here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on some of the main points that are being addressed in this episode that have been kind of building up the entire series. And the main point right now is everybody's tired. Everybody's physically tired. They're emotionally tired. They are mentally tired. All of the above, tired. And so the second thing is that people are starting to get more hardened. Glenn, Rick, Glenn and Rick's conversation when they're in Richmond, talking about they don't care anymore that people die. And it's just one of those things where this is really where it's kind of like a turning point because, like I said, everything building up to here, they've been on the run, they've stopped, they've been on the run and stopped and all that stuff. And now they're starting to see that, maybe there's a way that you can balance these two. So we get to Noah and Tyrese talking about how Tyrese copes with the world. And this is something that a lot of people that are talking about Noah, and let's just get this out of the way, Noah is weak. If he doesn't step up, nut up, and earn his keep, he's gonna, he's already caused a couple of people's deaths. And so Noah needs to get his shit together. But Tyrese is talking to him about how he made sure that he never tried to hide from the truth, and he always made sure to keep his eyes metaphorically open anytime the world shows him ugliness. And this is something that if you're a creative person, and I am, people that are creative, the reason they're creative is that the inputs that come in, if you looked at a mixing board has a volume down here and it has an input gain up here. And the input gain basically opens up the microphone and the volume just boosts whatever signal's coming in. Creative people have that input gain cranked all the way up. So the microphone is all the way up. The visuals are all the way up. The audios are all the way up. And you get all of your information all at once. And so that's called paying the high cost of living, according to his father. And I can really identify with this because it's what kills a lot of people in the Walker apocalypse. They just can't handle it. They're too sensitive and they die. So here's a second point that everybody has been trying to figure out, and that is the sequence of events with Noah's house. So from what I gather and what I'm extrapolating, they go in, they see the mother's head has been either blown off or chopped. Part of the head has been either blown or chopped off. She doesn't look like she died from a walker attack. Then we go in, Tyrese goes in, sees a walker behind a door, then goes to the right into the twins' bedroom. One of the twins is dead on the bed. He turns around, sees the pictures of the twins, gets distracted, gets bit by the other twin, and then he, has his thing. And then when he comes back, the walker, the governor turns into the walker, and I'm going to get to that in a second. The governor turns into a walker, and then he uses his already bitten arm to block the walker. I think that walker came from behind the door, and who knows, maybe that's one of those houses where a bathroom connects or whatever. So that's the whole deal with that. Now on to the next place where a lot of people were split on their opinions, and that is the Conceptual Pieces and the Tyrese death scene. So here's my opinion on this one. I think that, first of all, the voice on the radio, and I'm sure you've figured it out by now, that's Andrew Lincoln's voice. But people are talking about, they think that it is radio broadcasts from the Walker outbreak, but I think it is snippets and conglomerations of events that have happened over most people. See, I'm in my late 40s, like 46. I saw a lot of that stuff happening in Rwanda and, Haiti and all that stuff. You could have roaming bands of gangs killing and mutilating and burning. You could have starvation where there's widespread cannibalism. All of that stuff that sounds like the Walker apocalypse has already happened. But it wasn't walkers. It was war, famine, and disease and so forth. So I think that is what the stuff is on the radio. It's more vague, just like everything else in this episode, to say it's ugliness. No matter what it is, if it's walkers, if it's war, famine, disease, it's still ugliness. Now here comes the next part of the Tyrese death resolution, and that is the appearance of past characters who personify his internal struggle. Now here are the internal struggles that he has. We've got Terminus Douche and the Governor. Now they represent the inevitable factor that this world is going to be ugly. Every day that you're alive, you're going to experience ugliness. And so you got on the other side, you got Bob and the girls, and they represent the fact of some people who are still alive that choose the path of least resistance, which is just survive. Don't let all the ugliness get to you. And so we got this battle here of path of least resistance with the girls and Bob. And then we've got the conquerors and the people who are willing to do any kind of dirty deed to stay on top. And that really has been Tyrese's struggle throughout the entire seasons, the series since he's gotten here. And that is, he's not willing to do the ugliest thing possible, but he is still willing to do something to survive. So what we got there is everybody, like Two Dead Girls, my friends at Two Dead Girls, hey, they were asking, why wasn't Karen in there and why wasn't her? I don't think they asked about Herschel, but a lot of people said they want to see Karen and Herschel. And it wouldn't work because those people don't represent any kind of internal conflict for Tyrese. Okay, another point we got to address is the wolves. Now, people are kind of trying to figure out and put the pieces together on this one, and here's what I've come up with so far, and that is when you have Rick and company after they're trying to get away after Tyrese's arm gets chopped off, they run into a pickup truck, and out of the cab spills a bunch of heads and torsos with W's on their forehead. And no, they're not George Bush fans. Then you saw when they were inspecting the perimeter of the community, all of the half-chopped bodies and arms. Well, that explains where the torsos and heads are. And the W's, I think that it is a gang. And what we've got here is when you see that one shot of Michonne, behind her, there's a spray painted wall that says "Wolves Not Far." So here's what I predict is going to happen because of what happened in the previews. You saw a pack of wolves. What I think is it's a gang called the Wolves, and they have domesticated wolves to be their advance guard, and they're the new big bad, as Meat Pie likes to call him. I think it's in Buffy, there's always a big bad. But so what that's going to be is a new gang that, from what I'm hearing, is going to be the most ruthless and vicious and most amazingly evil gang that they've run across so far. So that's what's going to happen in the future, and that's what I think explains the W's carved in the walkers' foreheads. Now for the resolution. Tyrese has had his arm chopped off, and me and Meat Pie were kind of talking about, you know, if he survives this, he better be superhuman Tyrese with the chainsaw arm like Ash or something like that. But no, he decides that he's going to die because that's the final resolution is you don't see the governor or Terminus douche in the car. You only see the Beth, the twin, the girls, and Bob. So when he says turn it off, that's when he's like, you know what? Had enough. I can't handle it anymore. It's time for me to have some peace. And he dies. Now, I thought, just because I know this show likes to punch you in the gut just when you're getting, you know, just when you think it's dark, they take the dark stick and just smack you in the shins with it. But I thought it would be fun if Tyrese had turned in the car, but he didn't. They drag him out, and Michonne takes care of him. But now we see, and here's the confusing turn of events, because once again, you can't trust the timeline of The Walking Dead, and that is that wasn't a funeral for Beth, that was a funeral for Tyrese. All right, so let's talk about episode 10. As I said before in the previews, they're talking about, or they showed a pack of wolves. So I think that they're going to meet the wolf gang, wolves or whatever, Wolves Not Far. And they also said that they show that they're getting thirsty and hungry and tired. And they do show that everybody's back together. And you do see behind them, they're all walking, and there's a herd of walkers behind them. Now, here's my question. Is that the herd of walkers that Abraham and Glenn and those people ran into? Or is it a different herd of walkers? What happened to the big giant herd of walkers at the cattle ranch? That's my big question. If anybody knows what's going to happen with that, please tell me in the comments. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to the people that have been playing with me on YouTube. Two Dead Girls have been there the whole time. And Raw Wrist, she participated in that tag video, and you can watch tag video, by the way. Los Lobos Negros, I like them still. And there's this new guy that I just saw, Make a Path Presents. You should check him out because he's another guy that's doing stuff that I like. He gets to the point. What I saw just now before I did this episode wasn't a recap. It was, and I kind of was influenced by his season 5, episode 9 review. So, you know, I actually did a review and redid it after I saw this. So you influenced me directly on this episode. Oh yeah, Olivella0513 is the #1 commenter on all Rockula retrospective YouTube videos. All right, well, let's hopefully I'm going to be able to get Meat Pie over here for the next Sunday night reaction review, but if not, I'll do it on my own. See you Sunday night for episode 10 of The Walking Dead. I'm Rockula, and this is Rockula Retrospective.